Yeah.
Welcome to the Virtual Insanity Podcast. Please like and subscribe.
Long.
Of course. I'm fucking 6'2", aren't I, mate? I'm just long, gangly and skinny.
Fucking long, man.
But, nah. Anyway, welcome back, Virtual Insanity fam. Nice to have you back. Hope you've got your coffees. So,
Our Lord and Saviour, Ron Swanson.
So anyway, Michael Caine. I heard he's coming out of retirement.
Okay.
Just for one film. I don't know how true this is, but I'm like, yeah, back on the big screen one last time. So apparently, Now You See Me 3, they've talked him back. Just
to
for,
be in
even
it.
if it's a cameo,
Yeah,
I think. But
He's doing a Patrick Stewart.
yeah, I mean, I love his Yorkshire tea advert. Like, I love it. And actually,
Where has Harry Enfield gone? That's a good point. Because Harry, see, along with Rick Mayall, Aid Edmondson, and those guys, you've also got Harry Enfield. You've got Kathy Burke. Who else is Paul Whitehouse, Simon Day? You've got everybody from the Fast Show. They're all absolute incredible, like comedy like writers.
yeah.
Paul Whitehouse is just fantastic.
And then obviously John Cleese. Would he be remembered or not? Like,
John Cleese is definitely getting remembered. 100%
I
getting
hope he
remembered.
does. Like, he's up there for me. Like, I always remember.
What's one of your favourite John Cleese moments? Because I've got there's one particular John Cleese moment for me. Or well, I say moment. It's a scene.
There's so many. Like, one that always sticks out. It depends what TV show we're talking about as well, though.
Right.
So, like, Fawlty Towers. There's so many.
I think mine's from Fawlty Towers.
Like, there's so many.
Oh, there is.
And the worst thing is there's moments in my life, like at work or something, you can't help but quote it, or the scene pops into your head, like, out of nowhere, and you're like... And it's usually something that, on your daily basis, something's just triggered you, and for somehow your brain has gone, this has happened, you're thinking of this scene from Fawlty Towers, like, it jumps.
Yeah.
And I think Fawlty Towers, and Mr. Bean sometimes, like...
Right.
There's a random one in Mr. Bean.
So, Mr. Bean, have you heard the theory? So, Mr. Bean's an alien.
Right.
And you're like, no, he's
Yeah, but
not.
he does.
He's just a human.
Because
And-
at the start...
if you watch Mr. Bean under the knowledge of he's an alien, it all makes sense. But then there's also the simple fact that his entrance
is being dropped out of a...
is being dropped from the sky, from a light,
Yeah.
from the sky. Now, to take it like slightly further, the animated Mr. Bean series, which is pretty decent to watch when you're absolutely baked.
See, I used to watch it every so often. And
It's
I was
amazing.
I prefer Mr. Bean.
Oh yeah. But you know,
I go back to... I'll actually search for Mr. Bean online and watch that.
oh, you go on YouTube, just watch all of Mr.
exactly.
Bean. It's amazing. But they did an episode in the animated series, which I'm almost certain is classed as canon as well. By the way,
I think it is. Because it is Rowan Atkinson, isn't it?
yeah, where he gets abducted by aliens, and all the aliens are Mr. Bean. They're all so there's just like Mr. Beans everywhere, all on this ship. And then he gets dropped off, and he's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but it does make sense.
that
because,
makes so much sense.
like, I mean, one of the scenes I always remember is when he goes to the swimming pool and the diving board. You know exactly which one. And he's there, and he's clinging on, and that kid's... And then his shorts fall off.
Yeah.
But
One of my favourites is when he picks up his new his new chair. He has to just sit on the roof in this chair.
or the New Year's Eve party where he's got it, so he paints the twiglets.
He's got no twiglets, so he gets some twigs, dips them in Marmite.
And then when he paints the room with there's paint and puts dynamite, and then the
There's
bloke
just
comes
like-
back against his
It's that
hat.
guy's hat, like.
Oh, but didn't you feel sorry for him as well in that episode where they turn the clock forward? So he thinks it's midnight and he goes to bed.
I grew up with Mr. Bean, like
Yeah.
much like you did, and much like many of the people out there would have. And it just, I don't know, there's such a soft spot for Mr. Bean. Like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like you feel sorry for him. You sort of like
when he meets the Queen and he's doing the not sir.
It's you feel sorry for him, but it's also hilarious to watch, and the fact that there's like no dialogue, and it's all just sort of Rowan Atkinson's facial expressions.
He did it at uni on stage, apparently.
Yeah,
the character Mr. Bean already existed.
I heard that it'd been a while, and he's so animated with his face, which is incredible.
The thing is, can you ever see someone being able to do like
no?
Like Mr. Bean is
No.
I mean, I always remember there was one Mr. Baldy Man, or the Baldy Man. Michael Caine. I was just like, why do I like him so much?
Italian Job.
For me, it was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, I think.
Okay, for me it was Italian Job.
Yeah, I love the Italian Job, but I think it's just his accent.
Yeah.
And I do think Michael Caine should have been James Bond.
No.
I just think he would have been Michael Caine.
No.
But he's too.
He's no.
But
I like him how he's. I
Had his
like him
career.
I like him what he's done.
yeah,
Sort of like head gangster of certain. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
no, exactly. Like, I mean,
it's kind of
like Dirty Rotten
just kind of
Scoundrels
him.
as well. That's
Like,
him and
it's
Steve
him.
Martin, but he's playing a con man.
Yeah.
So he's still
yeah.
that. But that's. I think that's why I think of him as James Bond though, because he plays this like rich, character. But
Not another one!
I want your top 5 British actors or comedic actors. Simply because I was doing the old flicking through Facebook as you are.
yeah.
I ended up on the reels, the little sort of like shorts,
Yeah.
TikTok-y videos
Yeah,
that aren't that long.
And they draw you in because you see that little snippet, or
Yeah.
something, you're like, ooh, what's that?
So anyway, I'm flicking through, and I catch this particular clip, and I had to watch the entire thing because it just took me back, and it is it's John Cleese.
Yeah. I love John Cleese.
And it's a scene, I believe it's a scene from 40 Towers, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I'll be able to correct you on that because I love 40 Towers.
So
that's a go-to if I'm 40
Yeah,
Towers. I
and
know every scene.
They also used it for a TV advert as well. Slightly updated it to sort of fit the bit, but
Right.
it was also used as a TV
I don't
advert.
remember that. I don't think, unless... Carry on. I'm
So
just curious now.
So it's John Cleese in his car,
The mini gets out.
and he's struggling with it, and then it doesn't want to start.
Was it an AA advert or car insurance advert?
It was a Specsavers advert, because what happened is when he gets out of the car, he's like, "If you don't start, I'm going to give you a damn good thrashing." You know what I mean? So he obviously gets out of the car, goes to grab a bit of tree,
Right.
comes back. This is in the advert. Comes back and starts beating the crap out of the car. The bit is the car's a police car, because he hasn't got his glasses
I
on,
think
so
I
he doesn't
remember
see the
it.
correct car.
Yeah.
But the original, where he just beats the car with the tree, I'm honest, I was chuckling. And it just, I don't know if you ever did, you must have done this.
What, the sneak upstairs?
No. So you've gone to bed because, your finishing program is done. So you got to go to bed. So upstairs, you're like, well, I'm not going to bed.
Yeah.
I will get in bed, but I'm not going to sleep because I'm not sleepy at all.
No.
So you used to wait for your parents to go back downstairs, but you'd always give it a couple of minutes because They could be like halfway on the stairs,
hovering.
like listening just to see, like, catch you out.
Turn your TV on.
So yeah, and then did you pre-prepare the TV?
Yeah.
So just before you went to bed, it's like
Volume
and everything
set.
was still up, volume right down to 0, and the TV would remember it back then.
Yeah. So then when you turn it on,
It's
you
already
then
ready.
Turn it up.
Sometimes it did little bastard mode where it just like was like, oh, you want it on 0, do you? 55. Boom, and you just like TV off.
Yeah. And then be like,
And then you're like, I need to get back in bed and I need to think about my life for about 20 minutes and then I could probably have another go. But
yeah. When they're in bed and asleep, so I can just go.
Yeah.
You're training your finger on the bell,
Yeah.
but like no TV on. But
So that was, Father Ted was one of them where you'd sneak it on and you'd have it on volume 1, 2. Do you know what I mean?
just to hear it.
You just. But then, yeah, you if you ever heard any sort of like any movement up towards the stairs, turn it off.
Yeah, you see, I had to because above my door we had a glass panel,
Yeah.
so they could see the light of the. So you had to turn it, like you hear the stairs go. You're like, boom,
Yeah.
and then you're waiting, and you're like, right, that's one set. So wait for the next set.
Yeah.
And then you wait for the bedroom door to shut, the light go off, and then you're still there, and you're like, okay, 10 minutes. And you either fall asleep
Yeah.
or you hit play,
Yeah.
and then you fall asleep anyway.
You pretty much fall into sleep.
And then you
at
wake
that
up in the
point.
morning, your TV's on, and you're like, turn it off.
Yeah. So that was Father Ted for me, was sort of
Yeah.
like watching that in almost silence.
Oh.
Still enjoying it, still absolutely loving it. But so that's yours.
That's one of my 5.
One of your 5. Well, one of my 5. I've got to bring him up, or it like instantly. Rowan Atkinson. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't not.
So
The man's a genius.
he's in one of mine,
Yeah.
definitely, and that's because Blackadder. I love Blackadder.
Oh, I love Blackadder. I love all of the Blackadders.
Yes, and I loved the first one, and then the flip. Because in the first one, he's an idiot,
Yeah.
but I've actually watched it more as I've got older. As well. Like I always, it's a go-to sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's normally at Christmas, I find.
no, that's just but it's.
I normally end up watching quite a lot of it at Christmas. I
Well,
don't know why.
I used to have the audiobooks as well.
Okay.
So when we used to go on holiday, we used to drive to Switzerland. So it was like 48 hours of driving. So in the car, we'd have like music, and then also my mum and dad, when it was getting a bit late, and they wanted me and my sister to go to sleep in the back of the car, basically. Audiobooks. And as we got older, we all liked Faulty Towers and we liked Blackadder. We had the audiobook and Dad's Army. We had the audiobooks and we just put one on, and it was like an episode or two, and then flip side, so on and so forth. And the thing was, you'd picture it as you'd see it on TV. So you'll lay there in the back of the car with like your pillow against the window, blanket maybe. When we're in like the South France area and stuff, it was too hot, so you were just literally in your t-shirt or hoodie or whatever, and you'd be listening to it, but watching it in your head.
Yeah.
Because you've seen it so many times, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
there like, I know exactly what's happening. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And Blackadder was one of them for me. But believe it or not, there was never the audiobook for the first series.
No.
But like I was saying, so what I noticed was Series 2, he's a little bit cleverer. Series 3, cleverer again. And then Series 4, he's a captain of the army. Like, I mean, I've heard stories about that scene.
That's like the not worst one because it's bad. It's the worst one because it's like there's no. Do you know how it ends? It's just it's so grim.
And I think the thing is, as you're watching it, you're like, it's stereotypical Blackadder.
Yeah.
And then when you watch that last episode and that scene, the whole thing's completely different. So you watch it again, but you're watching it in this view sight of. I mean, that's the other thing with Blackadder. They always die. And I find that really interesting. Like, every series, they die. I think there's one where Blackadder doesn't, or whatever. There's one where it does. It's a bit different, but no, that's what happens. And that scene, apparently, they filmed it, and they wanted to do another shoot. Direct, and they all refused. They were like, no, it was too emotional.
Yeah.
Like, and you watch it, and you're like,
oh yeah, you feel it.
And the bit that gets me is when they're there and they're talking, and it's about the diaries and stuff. And that episode's so poignant. Like, I remember we watched it for GCSE history as we're showing you Blackadder, but this portrays that so well. And it's like, you've got Captain Dan, and he's like, oh, I was writing in my diary on the way here. And he goes, I wrote, bugger. Like, and you're just there like, and there's this one bit where he goes, the Great War, 1914 to 1917, and you're there going, that's another year, mate.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, I was just there like, the first time, like, as a kid, you don't,
Yeah.
but when you start learning and you hear that, you go, oh shit, they're dead.
Yeah. It is brutal. And
Yeah.
Blackadder was so I saw him in Mr. Bean before I saw him in Blackadder.
Mr.
Because
Bean's a classic.
Blackadder was is slightly more aimed at adults than it is at kids, whereas Mr. Bean isn't. So I just remember watching Mr. Bean and just being absolutely fascinated by him, and just finding his kind of comedy just absolutely hilarious. Like, it's so stupid, but it's so simple. It's like it just works,
Yeah,
and I absolutely love it.
So with that, I was going to say someone else because I was going to link it back to the TV thing, and it was a Sunday night, I think, for me. But just because we've said Rowan Atkinson, like I said, he's in my list as well. So there's two of mine. John Cleese. Like, I know we mentioned him, but John Cleese.
He's up there, 100% up there.
I know we've mentioned Fawlty Towers, but if I was to think of another scene of him from anything else, it's The Black Knight. It's that scene.
Yeah.
And I could pick any Monty Python sketch scene or whatever with him in, because, like, the Ministry of Silly Walks, you know what I mean.
Just
but
the whole
Black
thing.
Knight, that's John Cleese.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
And then, oh, you yellow belly, come back here,
Yeah.
I'll bite your bleeding ankle. It's just, it's a...
I love the fact that it's so British.
And then they chop his head off. We'll call it a draw.
Yeah. I think with John Cleese, for me, it's majoritively Fawlty Towers.
Yeah.
Because it's like controlled chaos.
So, did you
and
know
it's
that's...
so funny.
You know the idea for Fawlty Towers? It's real life experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had heard that, yeah.
When I found out that, I was just like, what? And I read the story. I think I watched an interview with John Cleese where he's talking about it. And he's there like, yeah, didn't know where our bags were. And the hotel manager had moved them because he thought they were a bomb. And this is in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm there like, what? And they were that mesmerised. They were like, I had to watch him. And John Cleese, and I think, I can't remember the other person. Connie Booth obviously stopped.
Yeah.
They stopped an extra couple of days to watch him. And that's where Fawlty Towers came from, apparently. And I'm sort of there going, what I like about that is it makes that character more real. Even though I'm watching it and I'm there going, it's so real.
He is... With John Cleese in Fawlty Towers, is inside every British person's head. And he is the conscience, he is the little voice that you hear. Whereas you will remain cool and calm on the exterior. You've got Basil Fawlty going off in the back of your head, just going absolutely nuts. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what it's what everyone wants to say and do, but you can't.
Yeah, and he does it. He just does it, and it's perfect. It's comedy perfection, really. There's no vulgarness to it. There's no.
No, and that's what
It's
I
like innocent in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just brilliant.
I mean, going back to the TV thing, a random one for me that it is because that was that Sunday night. Richard Wilson.
One Foot in the Grave.
Yeah, I just loved Victor Meldrew.
Yeah.
Like that character, and again, I think that's similar to Fawlty Towers and John Cleese. It's the same thing, like in your head, like you sat next to your granddad in a car, or you at your granddad, and you do something, or someone does, and all you've got in your head is, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like you thought your granddad was Victor Meldrew, even though he wasn't. Like it was just that.
Yeah.
And no, Richard Wilson, just because of that.
Again, a perfect character sort of creation, really. Because again, you kind of like somebody like that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a British kid and you've grown up in Britain, you will know somebody that is Victor Meldrew. 100%. Like you will know someone that acts like Blackadder.
Yeah,
You'll know somebody that acts like
Rick Mail.
Basil Fawlty or John Cleese and Rick Mail.
Like, there's them character, and that's what makes it so good.
Yeah.
So,
this one's slightly off field.
Okay.
But he's up there because of what he's done over the years and the influence he's had with the things that I've watched. But that would be Matt Berry.
Yeah.
You know Matt Berry?
Yeah. IT Crowd.
So he's in his
What
Renan.
We Do in the Shadows.
IT Crowd. He's Laszlo in
Yeah.
What We Do in the Shadows.
He was on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, he's on Absolute Radio, Absolute 90s, anything to do with Absolute. He was also, I want to say his name is Sanchez in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which is Channel 4. The guy's just incredible.
Yeah, he's got
Stephen Toaster London. You ever seen Toaster London?
I think I have, but I can't remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
If it isn't Stephen, hide your wife because he'll fuck anything toast. Rate purchase.
Matt Berry, yeah. I don't think I'd put him on my list, but
No.
he's up there.
I think it's just because he's had such an effect. Like you'll go anywhere, and
Everyone knows Matt Berry.
You'll say something, and it'll just be you have to say it in his pronunciational way. You know what I mean? New York City.
Yeah. Father. Like it's just them things that he says. So with TV shows and stuff, I think we'll go down that route.
Yeah.
Maybe not even do a top 10 because I think let's just talk about them. But Frank Spencer. And the one thing I remember from childhood, well, actually, if I go this way, it's a bit better. So I went to see The Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
And I loved it. Like, it was amazing. But the bit that confused me more than anything was that when I went, Frank Spencer was the Phantom. Okay? And I'm hearing this man sing. Michael Crawford is there, and he's belting out these songs. And I love the Phantom of the Opera. I love it.
Yeah.
And Michael Crawford singing these. And then after, I'm there like, I'm completely starstruck, mesmerised by what I've just seen. My mum and dad then turned to me and go, you do realise that's Frank Spencer? And I'm there and I'm like, what? Then all that goes through my head is, oh, Betty.
Yeah.
And I was flabbergasted. Like, I literally was just like...
So for our international friends, Frank Spencer is from a comedy show from the
I can't remember.
late 70s,
80s,
early 80s.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like to put a timestamp.
It's called Some Mothers Do Have 'Em, and it basically follows this guy called Frank Spencer, and he is useless.
Yeah.
Would probably be completely harmless, but utterly useless. And the way the way he goes about everything is just incredible. It's definitely well worth a watch. Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. I would go and look that up.
I then go from that,
Yeah.
and I remember Rising Damp,
Okay.
Rigsby, with his cat Vienna, and it was just one of them. It wasn't great, like it wasn't amazing, like.
See, the problem with like Some Others Do Have 'Em, for me anyway, was I only saw it a couple of years ago for the first time.
I saw it as a kid.
So Becca, my wife, she was she said something. I was like, "What's that from?" And she was like, "Some Others Do Have 'Em. Have you ever seen it?" I was like, "No." And she got all excited because she knows what it is, and I'm just like, "What is this?"
It's nostalgia for
So,
her, but the curious.
Sat down, put it on, and I was just like, "This is quite possibly one of the best things I've ever seen." Genuinely, like,
I need to watch it again.
it's
I've
just-
not watched it since childhood.
it's just that silly humour that we talk about that is missing.
slapstick.
Yeah,
Sort of.
it's just properly silly,
The weird thing is though, it's predictable but not.
and it's played quite straight as well. Like, it's not like zany or wacky. It's quite normal life. It's just
Yeah, like
the things that happen. It's like you could imagine those things happening,
but all to one person.
but it kind of like just happens to this guy all the time, and it's just
Yeah, no.
it's amazing.
No, I agree with that. Like, but there was, what was it? See, I never liked Last of the Summer Wine, but one for me as a kid growing up, and I remember like one Christmas, it was on, and I'm at my grandparents, and everyone's like, "Why are you obsessed?" Dad's Army.
Okay,
I loved Dad's Army as a kid. Like, I remember, like, basically this Christmas, they'll like sing the theme tune, and you just knew it off by heart as a kid, and it was like, and it was just hilarious. Like, and I watch it now, and I still,
it's got that long lasting.
yeah, like I watch it now, and I'm still there, like, laughing at the same joke over and over again. Like, no matter how many times you see the "Don't Tell Him Pike" scene.
That goes with pretty much every show we're probably going to talk about, to be honest, because I can watch the young ones over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I can watch Blackadder over and over again, Bottom over and over again,
Fawlty Towers.
I
can watch The Mighty Boosh over and over again. I know that's more new.
So, going with the modern, or more modern than those, Black Books,
I love
Spaced.
Black Books. Yeah.
I really like Friday Night Dinner, which is a lot more newer than any of the others that we've sort of said. But
I've seen the trailer, but I'm not actually watched.
You never
it.
watched Friday Night Dinner?
No, it's one of them.
It's
I keep meaning
amazing.
to, but
it's one of them Channel 4 comedy comedy shows where it's got Simon Bird from The In-Betweeners.
Yeah, it's both of them, isn't it?
No, the other guy. The other guy is I can't remember his name, but he's also super funny. The dad who passed away a couple of years ago, unfortunately, he is hilarious. He is absolutely hilarious. And then you've got the wonderful Tamsin Greig as the mom, and then an ensemble cast of just brilliance.
Yeah,
I absolutely, honestly, it's well worth a watch. You'll find yourself. I almost think I'm sure it's on Netflix. You'll find yourself putting an episode on, and you won't stop because you just get hooked on their like
Yeah.
It's so weird because it's Friday night dinner. They literally go around for Friday night dinner, and just chaos ensues, and they're all so relatable and so likable that you just find yourself sort of like in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, so a couple of shows that they're the different humour. Like, you've got your Fawlty Towers and
Yeah.
stuff. You've got your Little Britain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but then you've got the League of Gentlemen, Psychoville, and
Yeah.
Inside the Number 9.
Yeah.
They're what you grow up.
So
They're like,
that's Mark Gatiss,
And Steve Pemberton.
Reece Shearsmith, and Steve Pemberton.
yeah,
Are the main three. More, I would, especially Inside Number 9 and Psychoville, is more Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton.
Yeah.
100%.
oh yeah,
Those pair are incredible. Like, they're just amazing. We're watching Inside Number 9 again as it stands at the moment.
yeah, we are.
It's amazing. It's just so clever, and it's dark, but it's just so clever. And because watching League of Gentlemen, and when League of Gentlemen came out, and watching that, it was so new
yeah,
because it was so dark, but also hilarious.
And
Like, I will never ever ever forget. So, in between the cutscenes, instead of it just being B-roll footage of the village or whatever,
yeah,
they had at the very start of the episode. You see this bike, just like pedal bike, just ride off, and unfortunately, this pet tortoise gets attached to the bike. And so through the entire episode, you just see this guy biking around.
with a tortoise.
And this tortoise goes from being alive to obviously being not alive, and then being chased by a pack of dogs. And it's nothing to do with the episode.
it's just a random
It's just
thing that's
like
happened.
B-roll footage, but it's so funny because you're just like, hang on, I've just seen this bike go all over.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, it's amazing.
No, the League of Gentlemen definitely deserves a shout out.
100%.
Black Books, I know you just mentioned
Black
it,
Books
but
is
I
so
loved Black
funny.
Books.
Again, one of the core key scenes from that is when Dylan Moran, who is the owner of the Black Book shop, has to do his taxes.
And he's got the tax suit.
And do you know what? Do you know what I find with that particular scene? Is the simple so I'm self-employed, so I have to do what he does, right? And watching it is so relatable. You're just like, I will do anything other than that. Yeah, I'm sure you guys will, probably.
See, obviously for me, the chef episode where they turn the bookshop into a restaurant.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And
Bill Bailey
and it's just that bit where he
works
goes,
so well.
"My oven will cook bits of oven,"
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm just there like,
It's
and the soup in the towers.
yeah. Oh my god, honestly,
I was just like,
it's so good. So you mentioned Chris Barry and Craig Charles, Red Dwarf.
yeah,
Red
definitely.
Dwarf is amazing. I love Red Dwarf.
Yeah, I mean, I like Chris Barry and British Empire as well.
Yeah.
Which was, again, it's that stereotypical. It's like your Fawlty Towers. Instead of it being a hotel, it's a gym, and them sort of scenarios. It's just British comedy, and it was easy and simple. There was no, you didn't offend anyone or anything. It was just relatable.
It was just so relatable to British people.
So,
And that, I find that the charming thing about, like, I love American comedy. I really do. Like, I find it hilarious. But there's something about British comedy that's just so down to earth.
so
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
when you see the word bucket,
yeah.
do you always go bouquet?
Occasionally, yeah. If
Like,
I'm
you
feeling
just think,
posh,
Hyacinth bouquet.
yeah. Which
And
keeping up appearances is incredible.
Turn left. Slow down, Richard.
But
There's
again,
a cyclist.
Again, Richard, you just like, you poor fuck. You know what I mean?
And like, he's just there, like, but he's just doing it.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, I want an easy life. Yes, Hyacinth.
Yeah.
I know Hyacinth. And his tone changes throughout, but he never loses it.
Yeah. Here's one for you, and I don't know how much you've seen or what you've seen, but I've got to say it because it's kind of filled my life currently. But Doctor Who was a great British staple.
I always liked Matt Smith and David Tennant.
Are they the ones you?
They were the two that I mainly watched.
So David Tennant is what you. So essentially, you have your Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's whoever you pretty much get introduced to is
That was
normally your Doctor.
That was who, and then I enjoyed Matt Smith.
So David Tennant was my Doctor, 100%.
Yeah,
number
he's
10. I'm not even going to be embarrassed by this fact. But when David Tennant left and turned into Matt Smith, I cried like an absolute baby. I actually because I knew it was coming, and
You still haven't braced yourself.
the thing is, throughout the entire, because it was in the specials, so throughout the entire specials, you're watching it and you're waiting because you know what's coming, and it's normally the Nox, which turns out to be the heartbeat of a Time Lord. And it goes through pretty much the entire special, both episodes. The entire special doesn't happen. And you're like, he's not leaving. This is amazing. He's not leaving.
And then the last 5 minutes.
And then literally the last 5 minutes you just hear. And you know when you hear that, like it just broke me. And you realise it was Bernard Cribbin's character and you're just like, and then it happens, like he takes the radiation and you just like it destroyed me. I was just screaming at no, why?
That was never that bad.
But like, this is another thing, and to the Doctor Who fans out there, the Whovians, I don't know if you guys ever felt like this, but you know when Matt Smith, so when they regenerated to Matt, when he regenerated to Matt Smith, I just did not like Matt Smith. I was just like, no,
I had that moment.
Imposter.
I had that moment. I remember it, and I was like, I can't watch it.
But
And then I did, and Matt Smith was good.
But it's weird because I watched, after seeing a couple of the David Tennant episodes, I was like, well, you know, I kind of need to see more.
Yeah.
So I went back to Christopher Eccleston's series, which is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And when Christopher Eccleston regenerated to David Tennant, it was just pure excitement. But it's because I knew David Tennant was coming. And it took me a couple of years to watch Doctor Who with Matt Smith. Because I was just like, no. I had the DVDs of David Tennant. I was just like, I'll live in the past. It's fine. I can deal with that.
I jumped straight on it. Like the first episode where you go, I was like, and then I remember
so I tell a lie. I did watch Matt Smith's first episode, but I've watched Peter Capaldi's first episode. I've watched Jodie Whittaker's first episode. I started watching Ncuti Gatwa's first episode and immediately stopped. But and I have gone back through straight to sort of William Hartnell's first episode, Patrick Troughton's first episode, John Pertwee's first episode, Tom Baker's, and like so on and so forth. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, when I watched that first episode, I was like, not as good as David Tennant. And then I stopped watching it for a bit, and then I sort of like rolled back round to it, and I watched Matt Smith's episodes, and Matt Smith is such a damn good actor.
Yeah,
like that man has talent for days. Mm-hmm. I remember watching that first episode again, watching it again, and just going, "That guy's sick." Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then just be like, "Yes, Matt Smith, yes," and then watching all of Matt Smith's episodes and just being like, this is awesome. Like,
see, I'd like to have seen him as Sherlock Holmes, I think.
What with Benedict Cumberbatch?
No, him instead.
Oh, okay.
I think Matt Smith would have been a good Sherlock.
Possibly, but Benedict Cumberbatch did
Yeah.
smash it out of the park.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not.
But again, that
taking
was written by Stephen Moffat, who also wrote a lot of Doctor Who.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't take that away from Cumberbatch.
But yeah, for Doctor Who, from the 60s up to the 90s, which is the first run, and then New Who, which is from like 2005 up to...
No.
No. No, because now Disney Plus have turned up.
Yeah.
That's season 1, so I'm assuming this is like a new...
It's a reboot.
A new Who.
A new Who universe.
Like, yeah, so I stick to the originals, and I stick to Christopher Eccleston up to Matt Smith. I tried to watch Peter Capaldi, but at that point it was just like,
Yeah, you see, I didn't even bother.
I'm spent with this.
I did up to end of Matt Smith, and then I was just like, yeah, I've not got the time.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I'd go and watch him, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I kind of just go from Christopher Eccleston to Matt Smith and then stop. And then I'll go and watch, I don't know, some Colin Baker ones because they're quite good, or some Sylvester McCoy ones for a bit, or Tom Baker. Tom Baker's is amazing. They are a weird... You know, if you can get over the fact that it looks so damn old, because it is so damn old, and you can still watch it, it's weird. Because it's like when they do the effects or when they do the explosions, you see the reaction on the camera from the explosion, and that just it's like light travels and. But anyway, you still watch it. It's still damn good. You can still watch it and still get on with it quite easily. And it's just so interesting to watch it. To be able to watch all of it is amazing.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, like I said, I remember certain episodes, but I've only ever watched them all the once.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of tuned in, went back, then watched, and then...
I've watched those episodes
I remember
many times.
the Minotaur episode, I remember. And, like, the Weeping Angel. Like, there's certain episodes where I'm like, yeah, I remember that.
So I remember the first time I saw the Weeping Angels, which was a David Tennant episode, with Sally Sparrow. So, and this was in series 3 with Martha Jones. And I just remember seeing the Weeping Angel and just being like, that is a fantastic villain.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's genuinely like, oh shit. Like, I can never blink again. I can't ever close my eyes. But then also, it's not that bad. Because you just get transported back in time. So it's like, if you end up in the 60s or something.
Yeah, I'd love life.
Class.
But then if you ended up in, like, 10,000 BC...
Not so good.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, I got the wrong end of the stick here. Why can't I be in the 60s or 70s?
So, it's genuine. Everybody asks this question, I suppose. The Doctor's outside. He's got his TARDIS. He's like, right, one trip. Where are you going? Are you going forward or backwards? You get one trip.
This is the thing, because, like, the excitement and intrigue sort of part of me would want to go forward.
Yeah.
But the historical sort of like part of me would want to go back. But
Yeah.
I don't know when. Like, this is the thing. Either or, I wouldn't know where I'd want to go. But I could quite easily go forward. I could quite easily go back. Like, I could go forward 10 years and find out all the football, like, you know what I mean, and then place bets.
Yeah, but, you know,
But-
the Doctor don't really like.
Yeah, I know,
dig
but
that, you know what I mean?
he wouldn't know I'd done it. I'd just sneak.
He'd always know.
But then him also, they're like, would I want to see the Roman Empire, or would I want to see like the Vikings, or
See, I've thought about this a lot, and it's like, do I go back to the Egyptian times and be like, right, fucking pyramids, what the fuck is going on here? Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's fucking watch this shit, because then I'll know. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Roswell,
Yeah.
go fucking check that shit. I mean, if the doctor's outside, aliens.
I wouldn't need to go to Roswell.
Aliens exist, so we know. Like
Yeah.
at that point, we're like, right, side, fair enough. We're cool with that.
But I'd be like,
Here's one for you: the Blitz.
yeah.
Would you visit it?
Oh yeah. I'd like. There's so many places like the Blitz. I was going to say.
But would you be like London Blitz, or would you go hardcore and be like Coventry?
I would go Coventry. Like, I'm thinking if I'm doing it, he's not going to let me die.
No, you'd be in a field somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So why not?
My granddad lived quite close to Coventry, and my granddad's stories, because he was but a wee boy when the bombs dropped. Some of the stories he's told me, and there's one particular interesting story. I think you'll find this quite interesting. Mm-hmm. So, just to sort of like set this up a little bit, we went to a place in Cornwall called Flambards,
Right.
and it's a theme park, but it's also got this like walk through time walk,
Yeah.
and you go through different time zones. Now, one of them is the Blitz, and when my granddad got in there, my granddad's whole being changed
Right.
from being just like cool granddad to a child. It was the strangest thing. Like this, the like he looked in his face and his eyes, and it was just excitement. And it was like, what? And before I heard it, before anybody else heard it in our group, my granddad was like, "They're coming." I thought, what are you on about? They're coming. And in this sort of like, it's a whole thing, and it's like quite realistic.
Yeah.
They have the planes fly over, and my granddad picked up on it,
Yeah.
like just as it had started, the very, very first, because it rumbles. And when that started, my granddad was like properly excited, because I suppose as a kid, they're going to find that exciting. They're not going to think death and destruction
No. It's
instantly.
Just planes.
It's just going to be you know what I mean? Like, it'd probably be a bit scary, but. And then they fly over and they drop the bombs and stuff. And my granddad, when we came out of there and we just sat down to have some lunch, he was like, that was amazing. He was like, because I remember that. He said, like, the noise is everything. He said, obviously, apart from the physical shaking and the,
Yeah.
you know, he
Was
said,
it one of them shake floors then?
no. There was nothing like that.
Yeah.
He said, but like, when it was happening, you felt it. You know what I mean? He said, apart from this one time, he said, you might find this interesting. He said, sirens go off. He said, you hear that distant thunder rumble. He said, you know they're coming. Everybody scatters to their shelters. Yeah. Whether it be the ones in the back garden, or whether it be the community ones. And he said, you're sort of like waiting. He said the planes got closer and closer and closer. Nothing. Then they flew past, like gone. Nothing. He said no bombs dropped. He said, so you wait for the all clear, siren goes off again. He said he opened the door to the shelter, and he said it looked like it had been snowing. I thought, what? He was like, yeah. I thought, like, what was it? And he was like, basically, what the Germans had done, because the British were so good at concealing everything and keeping everything as dark as physically possible. You had blackout blinds, you had bloody blackout light covers for your car, and they just had little slits. He said basically the Germans had gone over, dropped ticker tape over the entire area silver ticker tape. So when the moon is shining, it just lights the entire place up. Like, hiya. Do you know what I mean? He said he put this ticker tape up and it literally had a Nazi symbol on it. And, you know, just like some German. What the fuck? He was like, that's the weirdest thing. He said that was weird. He said that was really, really weird because you just weren't expecting it. He said the only time he ever felt scared, he said, was when he used to drop these certain types of bombs. And you know when you hear about German bombs and you hear it dropping, you hear that whistle. Yeah. He said we used to play a game with that where you'd guess where it'd drop because you'd hear it all the way down and then bang. He said, but then the Germans sent these other types of bombs down and they whistle so far and then silence. He said, so for that last however many meters it is before it hits the ground, it is silent. And he's like, you don't know where that's going to hit. And he said at that point, that was like one of the most
game changer.
That was like scary because it was you didn't know what was going on.
I could imagine that. Like,
but going back, I would go sit in a field and just watch.
Yeah, like no, I think
just to experience it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think because it's so close to us, but not.
Yeah.
So it's like the most recent. Not major, but
it is. Yeah. It is for us.
Like
on
as in
on home soil, like not us.
We were being attacked.
Yeah, like not us going out and attacking. It was us being attacked. That is the closest one that we in our history, anyway. Like my granddad was yes, he was a kid.
It's like
I mean?
My grandparents same. My granddad lied about his age to fight, and then they found out, sort of thing. But
and gave him a better gun.
Nah. You're a lad boy. Stay here. But that I think is actually a good time period.
Yeah, definitely. I think either that or the pyramids, or the Titanic.
Yeah, but no, I won't drown.
But how bad would you feel knowing that you could probably save a load of people, but you actually physically can't because, time
lords,
like
laws, time laws, not time lords.
You'd just be what I don't. You see that one? That one would be brutal. With the Blitz one, it'd be brutal, but it's crash bang wallop. Like you're not. Although you're in it, you're not in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
whereas
Titanic,
on the Titanic, you're pretty much like you've got to be on it, and you're like,
I'm dying.
And just knowing like all these people just aren't going to make it. It'd be insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. No. I don't like water as it is. So Titanic.
So which Doctor would you want it to be that's taking you? Would it be Matt Smith or David Tennant?
I think Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Just because he's more goofy. Like, David Tennant's a little bit too serious for me. Like, I'd have banter with him, but Matt Smith, I'd have banter. Yeah. Like, it'd be like, that was a great memory, great day out.
Yeah.
David Tennant would be like, great day out, but he's a bit of a dick.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know if I'd go with John Pertwee, maybe, or Tom Baker, possibly. I mean, David Tennant would obviously be the one, really, because he's my Doctor. But
until next time, thank you for listening. A comment, like or share really helps us out, and we would love to hear your stories and thoughts in the comments section below.